Destructuring allows you to unpack values from arrays or properties from objects into distinct variables. First, let's look at object destructuring. For this example, I've created an object, and then I'm using destructuring to extract the properties from that object. The way we do object destructuring is we create our variables and surround them in brackets, and then we assign them to our existing object. What this will do is it will extract those variables from the object. For example, here, the first name variable will be the first name from the object, and the last name variable will be the last name from the object. You can do as many or as few variables destructured from the object as you want. What we'll do is we'll console log and show that the first name, Blake, is actually the first name from our object. To see a practical use case for this, let's look back at the test we created. In the test, you'll notice we have testcase.input.feat, and we say testcase dot multiple times over and over and over. This is a scenario where we can use destructuring to clean up this code a little bit. So now I've done some destructuring to extract the input as well as the expected value from the test case. And then I've also destructured the input to give me the feet and inches as distinct variables. In our code, we can now clean this up and remove testcase.input and testcase.input and testcase.input and testcase.expected. Now, where we have feet, inches, and expected, we're referring to the distinct variables that we extracted from the test case. I went ahead, ran our tests, and all of our tests are still passing. Array destructuring is going to look very similar. However, we're extracting elements based on their position in the array. In the array destructuring example, first we create an array of racers, and this array is currently sorted based on their times. So the first racer is the one who got first place, second place, third place, so on and so forth. Now to destructure this, we create two variables, first place and second place, and we assign it to racers. So the variable first place should be the first element, and the variable second place should be the second element. I added a log statement, ran the code, and we can see that the second place variable is storing Jim, which is the second element of our array. Now you might have noticed I didn't create a variable for each element in the array. And if you only need a couple, you don't have to. However, if you wanted to, you could continue to add as many variables as necessary. If you want the rest of the entries to be stored into a single value, you can do that as well by using ... and creating another variable to store the rest of them. And this time when we log our code, we'll see that the variable named rest contains the remaining 3 racers that were not destructured by our explicit variables. Something to highlight here is the variable names don't really matter when you're using array destructuring. You can name the variables whatever you want. When you're using object destructuring though, the variable names needed to be the exact same name as the entries in the object itself.